All right. So, welcome to our very first exposition. Tonight, we will be exploring the backstories of Sotto and Old Bog in the Silence of the Spiritsong campaign. We're going to be starting with Old Bog,
Yep.
and I'll. And tonight it's a little different. It's going to be an exposition. It's not going to be a real session per se, but we're going to be exploring who exactly is Old Bog? What is important to him? Where does he come from? What does he want? What are his deepest, darkest fears? No, we won't go that far. But yeah, it's just let's just introduce ourselves to this grumpy old servant.
All right.
All right, so here we go. The Copper Vat. Actually, let's start with changing the scene. All right, I've got like 4 computers going here. I'll switch scenes here.
It's all good.
The Copper Vat, nestled within the heart of a tangle beneath the majestic Jowa evertree, greets its visitors with the familiar warmth of burning wood and the rich earthy aroma of mulled wine simmering over the fire. The tavern, once a bustling hub of laughter and lively conversations, now holds a more subdued atmosphere, its patrons sparse and their voices low. As one steps through the creaking wooden door, the gentle clinking of glasses and the soft crackle of the fireplace offer a bittersweet welcome. The air is thick with the scent of spices, cinnamon, cloves, and a hint of orange peel, melding with the underlying richness of aged wood and a faint, comforting smell of parchment and leather from the books lining the shelves along the walls. The tavern's interior is dimly lit, with flickering candles casting shadows that dance across the walls and ceiling, adding a touch of whimsy to the somber mood. The few patrons present speak in hushed whispers, their conversations punctuated by occasional anxious glances around the room or towards the empty stage at the far end of the tavern. The stage, once the heart of the Copper Vat's vibrant evenings, now stands silent and unoccupied, a stark reminder of the joy that seems to have faded along with the spirit song. Winnie, the elderly Gallus proprietor of the Copper Vat, let me just bring her up here. Oops, wrong one. Moves amongst the tables with a quiet grace, her once vibrant feathers taking on a gray patina with age, are slightly ruffled, but her spirit undimmed. She serves her famous mulled wine with a gentle smile, the warmth of the drink mirroring the warmth in her eyes, offering a silent comfort to her guests. The soft rustle of her movements and the occasional clink of a glass being set down on a table blend with the muted sounds of the tavern. It is here that we find Old Bog, sitting at the end of the bar. Old Bog, can you please describe your character for us?
Well, I am what you see. Just an old servant keeping peace at the vat from a stool in the corner. Though I have to say there hasn't been too much trouble recently, which is fine by me.
And what is Old Bog wearing at this time?
Well, I put on my mail shirt just in case somebody starts throwing daggers, but again, that hasn't happened in a couple of decades. But I got my leather trousers, my boots, but can't fit a hat on these horns, am I right?
As you laugh to yourself with this joke, you see Winnie kind of glance over to you, give you a warm smile and a wink as she continues serving the few patrons that are here. She soon finishes her round and makes her way back to the bar and stands next to you. She lets out a long sigh and go ahead and make an insight check for me, please.
How you doing there, darling? What's on your mind?
Nat 1. What a way to start the campaign. Nicely done. She looks at you, and she looks tired to you. You know that Winnie works hard, and she puts on a smile and a friendly face to all her patrons. But you've seen the times when she is tired, a little run off her feet. Perhaps you can't remember the last time she has taken a vacation. And when you look at her, all you feel is tiredness from her. She responds to you, Boggy, 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 Boggy. I don't know how much longer I can do this.
I know, darling. Times ain't what they used to be. But I gotta say, what else you got going on if it ain't for the vat?
How long have we known each other now, Boggy?
Long time, darling. Long time.
I can't remember the last time I didn't see your ass sitting in that stool there.
Yeah. First seat I took after your mom hired me.
You're like a fixture here.
Yep. We built this place together with your mom. I think we owe it to her to keep it running.
When you say those words, she falls silent and bows her head a moment, and you can see a tear forming in her eye.
Oh, darling, come on over here. Give you a little squeeze. I miss her too. Times ain't what they used to be, with the song gone and all. We just gotta hunker down.
Ah, Boggy. You got a good heart. But a good heart won't pay the bills. And
we got a couple of drinkers over there. I know they're not pounding them like they used to, but are they paying? Are you running up a tab on them like you used to? Now, Winnie, I told you can't be giving people tabs. They need to pay up.
it's hard times for a lot of folk here in the Tangle.
Yep. That's the
I do.
good-hearted person you are, letting them come here for some fellowship.
That's what this place is for. It's for the folk to come, but leave their worries at the door. Have a good, warm glass of mulled wine.
The best.
But the stocks are running low, old Boggy. And I don't have the coin to fill them up again.
Yeah. You getting credit from our suppliers?
No. Now, when is the last time you heard of a Corvin giving credit?
True.
I think this is it, Boggy.
No,
If things
no.
don't turn around within the next couple of weeks, I'm gonna have to close these doors.
Oh, Winnie, we'll find a way, darling. We always have. We'll find a way.
Boggy. We've known each other for far too long. And we know each other probably far too well. How's your family, Boggy?
No, Winnie, you know not to ask.
I know. It's a sensitive subject for you, but if I close this place down, you're gonna have to move that ass off the stool.
Ha!
And then where are you gonna go?
I ain't got nowhere to go.
That's why I'm asking, though, Boggy.
My kid, she ain't called me 6 months. I don't know, what am I supposed to do? To go knocking on her door and say, "Can I sleep on your couch?"
Have you at least tried knocking on her door?
No,
Maybe you don't have to sleep on her couch.
no. I'll find a place to rest my head, but boy, I wish she'd call me. I miss her.
You know, you got 2 fine legs of your own. You can walk on down there and say hi yourself.
Yeah, yeah, I'm thinking about it.
Listen, the only reason I bring this up, Baki, is because, once this place is gone, I want you to have something. And you got a family.
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
Just give it some thought, Baki.
Oh, don't be talking nonsense now. This place isn't going anywhere. We'll find a way. Hey, you guys over there, put your coin on the table.
She smiles at you, gives you a little peck on the cheek. And the 2 people that you demand to put coin on the table, they raise their glasses and Winnie makes her way behind the bar, pours some more mulled wine into a pitcher, and makes her way over to to the table. As you watch her move over, you hear the creak of the door open, and you feel a gust of wind enter the room. It's kind of with it, you feel like a rustling of leaves kind of sweep across the floor. You look up, and you see what looks to be a young female servant. Could be the age of your daughter, but she clearly is not. She wears what looks to be a hunter's garb, has a bow slung over her shoulder. She steps in, takes a brief look around. She locks eyes with you, gives you a warm smile, and starts walking towards you.
I'll nod back.
She sidles up next to you, bold as anything, sitting on the stool beside you. Well, hello there, old timer.
Yeah.
What's good to drink around here?
Well, we got mulled wine.
Is that what I smelled?
Yep.
I'll have me some of that.
Well, over there's Winnie. She runs the place.
She looks occupied at the moment. Would you mind getting it for me?
Ha! No, not my job.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were employed here.
I
Am I
am.
mistaken?
No, I work here. Been working here since day one.
And what do you do?
Keep the peace. Keep the trash out. Take the trash out when it needs taken out.
She looks around. Doesn't seem to be much peace to be keeping there. It seems.
Well, I'm doing my job then, aren't I? Ha 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 ha.
I suppose you're doing it quite well. Now, tell me, Boggy, when was the last time you went back to the Grove?
How do you know my name, little lady, and I don't even know yours?
She smiles. Perhaps you've just forgotten mine.
Possible. You feel like reminding me?
Go ahead and make another insight check for me, please.
All right, hopefully better than last time.
All right, you're getting there. 13. The one thing you notice, I mean, you've been around for a while now, and you know hunters come and go. How long would you say it has been since you were back at the Grove?
I've been to Shady Grove in, I don't know, 75 years?
So it's been
maybe
some
longer.
time then.
Yep.
Okay. The one thing you will notice with that roll of a 13, is that her accent and her mannerisms, the way she dresses, seems a little not off, but different. Not from the Grove.
All right.
And she says, "You have a daughter."
Maybe.
When was the last time you spoke with her?
I don't believe that's any of your business.
Perhaps I am being rather presumptuous. I please do excuse me. My time here is somewhat limited, though.
All right. Where you
You're
got to
strict.
be. If you got to be somewhere, maybe you should get going. Pay for your drink first, though.
What to drink? You- Perhaps if you would offer me one, then I would be more than happy to purchase it. You look across the tavern, you see Winnie engaged in conversation with a few of the customers.
You really want to see me get up off this stool, don't you? I only get up off this stool for one reason, and that's to escort certain individuals out of my place.
Oh, this is your place.
No, it belongs to her over there, but I treat it like it's mine. I've been here since Winnie's mom, Willow, opened a place many years ago. I was the first employee, and then along came Winnie. Her and I sort of grew up together, and poor Willow, she passed. She's up in the clouds now, but I still think about her often. But yeah, I treat this place like it's mine.
She reaches out and touches your arm and leans in and whispers, "Willow's doing just fine." I've come here to warn you, old bog. You will be called upon soon. And at that time, I do hope you get off that stool and answer it for your daughter's sake.
Well, lady, gotta say, I don't know what you're talking about. But I hear what you're saying. And we'll see.
With that, she stands up, adjusts the bow around her shoulders, and says, "Well, it would seem my time is up. Farewell, Boggy."
Hey, you know, you never told me your name there, kid.
She moves towards the door, and as she reaches it, she turns back and says, "Delilah." She walks through the door. You see Winnie finish her conversation. He comes back to you and says, "Was I just seeing things, or were you going on talking to yourself?"
No, I was talking to that lass that just came in. Hunter-looking little lady with the cloak and the bow.
She looks around and says, "How much mulled wine have you had tonight, Boggy? Maybe you should lay off a bit."
Winnie, you know I don't drink on the job.
There ain't no young lady here.
Wait, what? What are you talking about? Just came in, offered her a drink, didn't get one. You're telling me you didn't see any of that? You just saw me talking to myself?
She reaches out and puts a hand on your forehead. Are you feeling all right there, Boggy?
Oh, good
Maybe you
lord,
should
man.
maybe you should go home and take the night off.
I am getting old. Well, just forget it then, Winnie. I'll keep that to myself.
That she says, all right. She looks a little confused, but she doesn't press you anymore. She knows not to. And she goes behind the bar and prepares some more orders. With that, we're going to switch over to Sotto.
Okay, ready.
All right. So let's get you going here. Beneath the broad canopy of the Dreamwood and the nestled homes of the Tangle, past the cozy warmth of the burrows, lies the Downbelow, a realm deep within the earth and stone where only the deepest roots of the Jowa tree, ever tree, reach. Our scene unfolds in a vast cavern illuminated by the gentle glow of bioluminescent fungi that dot the walls and ceilings like stars in the subterranean night sky. The air is filled with a symphony of sounds, the distant roar of underground rivers, the soft drip of water echoing off stalactites, and the murmur of voices that carry through the caverns with a life of their own. In the heart of this cavern, a night market bustles with activity. Stalls crafted from the root and stone line the winding paths, their surfaces laden with goods that range from the mundane to the wondrous. Vendors, a motley collection of the Dreamwood's inhabitants, call out their wares with sing-song voices enticing passer-bys with promises of treasures untold. The air is thick with the aroma of spiced foods, sweet treats, and the earthy scent of moss and stone, creating a tapestry of smells that beckons visitors to explore deeper. You see children darting between the stalls, laughter bubbling from their lips as they chase one another. Their eyes shine with the light of discovery, reflecting the myriad of colors that dance around them. Lights strung from stall to stall flicker in the gentle air currents, casting the entire market in a soft, ethereal glow. At the center of the market, a small stage carved from the rock itself hosts a troupe of performers. Their act is a blend of storytelling and illusion, weaving tales of the birth of the Spiritsong that leave the audience spellbound. The performers move with a grace that belies their hefty and varied forms, and costumes shimmer under the bioluminescent light. Off to one side, excuse me, a quiet nook offers a respite for the bustling market. Here, a crystal clear spring bubbles up from the depths, its water pure and refreshing. Around it, soft moss and delicate ferns offer seating where weary shoppers and travelers alike can pause to enjoy the tranquility. The sound of the spring, a constant, soothing presence, blends with the distant hum of the market, the performance, and the melody that speaks to the heart of the down below. It is here that we find Sotto. Can you please describe your character for me, please?
Sure. So Soto is a swift strig that he's modeled off a burrowing owl. So he's pretty small and slight. He's wearing these flowing orange robes, basically a monk's garb. Very long, draping, flowing pants. And I feel like there's a lot of embroidery on his outfit that he probably did himself. Um, and as he sees the performance, I think he's going to be glaring in that general direction.
Okay. You take in the performance from a distance, They seem to be approaching the climax of the play, where the heroes have gathered within what looks to be a makeshift temple made from roots and twigs. They are beset upon by hordes of other actors wearing skeletal masks, and the heroes themselves comprise of a female servant, ranger, what looks to be a gerbean of sorts, wearing the holy symbols of Titan, a Luma bard who seems to be preoccupied by singing a ritualistic type song, and one other. Hold on, let me see. I want to make sure I get this right. Yes. How could I forget? Another Strig paladin-like actor, wielding a sword, wearing armor, all surrounding and defending what looks to be an altar, where by some trick of light or magic or perhaps an illusion, you see vines kind of reaching up on top of the altar, and they seem to be forming an artifact of sorts, a wooden heart. And as the climax approaches, you see one of the actors from offstage come pouncing on top of the altar in the shape of a wolf. And with an enormous howl that echoes off the walls of this vast cavern, the crowd erupts in cheers as the actors playing the undead horde that are approaching them crumble to the floor, defeated, and thus the birth of the Spiritsong has been realized as the heroes hold up this tiny wooden heart in their hands, the sacred artifact. One thing that happens before this is that the servant ranger was struck down by the undead just prior to that, and as she was struck down, you heard a loud gasp come from the audience. This is a story that has been told and retold for generations. Everyone knows the story by heart, but everyone loves to see it again and again. And it's more poignant now more than ever with the silence of the Spiritsong, as people realize what they have lost and the sacrifices that were made to achieve it in the first place. So as you glare at this production, and as it comes to a conclusion and the audience roars and applause and the actors take their bows, you see a badger with dark blue, almost black hair with big pronounced stripe running down his head, wearing an apron that is constantly dusty and stained with various food. Who knows what stains are covering his apron, carrying bags as he has completed his shopping, and he approaches you, and you would know this to be Merle. He sees you glowering at the performance, looks back at you and says, "Now you know, Sotto, it's just a play."
It's not just a play.
Well, the children seem to enjoy it.
I suppose, as long as they enjoy it, then I can tolerate it.
He looks where you're sitting in front of this place of tranquility with this bubbling spring and says, "Now what's gotten into you, Sotto?"
It's just the same performance every time, never changes. Just, it gets on my nerves.
He shrugs and looks over at the performers who are now being swarmed by the audience and says, I don't know. I think it's a hopeful story."
Oh, really? You think that? even though the Spiritsong is gone. And he looks extremely irritated.
Well, there is that. But life goes on, and I'm still hungry. Shall we go home? And I bought us some nice crickets. They'll roast nicely.
As long as you don't get sauce on any sort of surface that where sauce is not supposed to be, then yes, we can go home.
He looks at you and just kind of blinks. Oh, by the way, I have a picture of him here. And you. There you go. He just kind of blinks and says, maybe I'll pour you a bottle of, or a glass of tonic too. The calming one. It seems that your nerves are a little on edge tonight.
I'll take it.
You know what? You stay here as long as you like and come home. It'll take me about half an hour to prepare dinner.
He's gonna look out at the crowd and at the children running around and at the crowds dispersing, and he'll say, I think I will stay a little longer. You go on ahead.
Very good. Don't stay too late now. I don't want your dinner to get cold.
I know, I'm notorious for being late, not finishing, even though your food is excellent.
It is indeed. And I won't wait for you this time.
I promise I'll be home at a reasonable hour this time.
Promises. As he starts to trundle off through the market back towards your home. And as you sit there, what is going through Soto's mind, and especially in relation to the performance that was just put on?
I think he's thinking about how performances are usually rooted in fantasy and not in reality. I think he's thinking about, again, just the repetition of it all. It's the same story over and over again. How do we know if it's true or not? Why are people so enraptured by this tale? And why are we celebrating? Why are we hopeful when the Spiritsong is gone? That's what bothers him the most, I think.
As you sit there, contemplating the fallacies of these performances, you see someone approaching. Now, they look a little different than the people who typically live in the Downbelow. Typically, the people who live here wear darker browns and blacks and charcoal grays, because anything lighter color will simply get dirty with all the dust and dirt and stone and mud. It's just simply impractical. However, coming down some steps towards you is a familiar face, perhaps one that you have not seen quite some time, wearing white robes.
Oh no. Okay.
You recognize her immediately as your sister, Delilah. And she sees you, and she's coming straight towards you.
He's gonna try and look away, even though he knows he's been caught.
She takes just a few moments for her to reach you. And without a word, she silently sits next to you. Takes a deep breath in, contemplates the tranquil spot you have chosen to sit, smiles and says, "This is a wonderful place, brother."
Sister, how long has it been?
I've stopped trying to keep track of time, brother.
I don't blame you.
She looks up and around and says, "This place is always a marvel to see."
Well, most people don't appreciate it like I do.
Why don't you come to the surface and visit?
Because, Delilah, it's been over 30 years now. Why would I ever bother to come up to the surface again? I'm happy here. I have a place in the market. I have a home. People I care about.
And how is your business going?
It's going well, thank you. Although some of my wind chimes aren't selling as hot as they used to, but the flutes and the bells still make a good coin.
You must be wondering why I made the journey down here.
I would have thought that was obvious, but I didn't want to question your methods this time.
You know I love you, brother.
I know.
And I wish you would visit more.
And what of the other siblings?
As you've said, it's been 30 years. People have changed. Things that were important then are not anymore. You should give them a chance.
He's just gonna sigh and say, Delilah, I think it's too late for any of that. I think that you're always going to be the only one I have left.
No, it's never too late. Not while you have breath, anyway.
I suppose, but I don't know if I can face that world up there. I was never like you. You know that better than anyone.
No one has asked you to be like me, or anyone else for that matter.
Not in 30 years, anyway.
Not in 30 years, no. I need your help, brother.
He's gonna look really concerned. Like, this must be really serious if she's asking for help.
The wardens are at a loss. With the silence of the Spiritsong, there has been, clearly, obviously, you must have seen it even here in the Downbelow, signs of unrest, anxiety, fear even. And that is something that the wardens are used to dealing with. And I mean, we are in the business of comforting people and offering solace and hope. But it is your expertise with bells and chimes that I am in need of now.
How so? How is anything that I've made with my own hand relevant in this situation?
Well, you see, with the absence of the Spiritsong, there has been a void, an emptiness within each of us. Some of us are more acutely aware of it than others. The wardens feel it immensely. And I'm sure you do too, brother. I can see it in your heart, in your eyes.
It is true. It has felt empty ever since that day. I call, but there's no answer.
She looks around a little just to ensure that you are alone in this tranquil spot, and she speaks more in a hushed voice now, almost conspiratorial. But you see, it isn't completely empty. We are hearing the sound of bells or chimes. We're not quite sure which. And they frighten us.
How could that be? They are supposed to be joyful, peaceful sounds. How could they strike terror within you?
Perhaps if you come to the surface and hear them for yourself, you will be able to help the wardens understand what it is.
Why have the wardens sent you and not one of their own? Why a cleric?
When they expressed their need for this knowledge, I knew your trade. And on a more selfish level, perhaps I just wanted to see my brother once more.
You always were the kindest one, Delilah. Is there truly no other way?
All I ask is that you lend your expertise. Perhaps if you're able to identify what these bells or chimes are and put the wardens' minds at ease. That is all that's needed.
He's gonna close his eyes for a moment and think. And after a moment, he's just going to say, I will do it. I will do it for you, but not for anyone else.
She smiles at you and places her hand on yours and says, "Oh, Sotto, is that the name you go by now?"
Yes, it is the one I chose for myself.
Sotto. I ask you this as a favor for me. But I hope that you have chosen a life for yourself, not because you had to escape something, whether that be a life above that you had no desire of following, but a life that you chose for yourself because you wanted it. Does that make sense?
I suppose. That decision I made all those years ago, I haven't regretted it, if that's what you're wondering.
Well, you seem to have set yourself up with quite a beautiful life down here. And as she says this, a gaggle of children come running up to you and start tugging at your sleeves and saying, "Come, Sotto, play hide and seek with us."
Oh, children, isn't this the third time today? I suppose I can make it more time for
It's
you.
the fourth.
The fourth. All right, then. And he's going to turn to Delilah and say, I've been happy, Delilah. But if this is something you need, consider it a repayment for your listening all these years.
Thank you, brother. When you're ready and you come to the surface, make your way to the hole in the ball where the shrines are, and the wardens will accept you there.
I will come, but I cannot promise that I will stay.
Of course. And she gives you a little kiss on the cheek and a hug.
He'll give the hug back in return, and then scamper off to play with the children.
All right. As you scamper off, do you look back at all at your sister?
Yeah, I think he would, just to make sure she's at least getting out safely.
All right. Can you make a perception check for me, please?
Can do. Perception.
Nice, 16. As you look back to where your sister last stood in that little sanctuary by the spring, you do not see her anymore. But in her stead, you see a wolf. And as it looks back at you, it wags its tail briefly and bounds back up towards the surface. And that is where we'll end our expositions for tonight. Guys, do you have any questions?
Many, but you're not going to answer them right now.
I know, right? I was going to say, I got a ton of questions.
I have 1,000 questions. I have one huge question, but you're not going to answer that right now. So
no. So in terms of setting, I have a couple of questions for each of you. Sotto, I know you and Merle have a place, but Old Bog, where do you live?
Where do you live?
In the supply closet at the
No
vat,
fixed address. In the supply closet. Yeah, no fixed address.
right?
So funny. Where do you actually live?
So you have a little cot prepared
Yep.
up there, so Winnie will have a little cot. Okay.
Yep.
That's great.
Boy. Yeah, you got to get out more.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. And for you, Sotto, you have Merle, and you mentioned in your backstory that, I mean, you take care of a bunch of children. Are these children just like neighborhood kids that just like to hang out with you, or are they orphans, or are they part of your family?
Yeah, I like to think it's like a foster situation going on, so it's kind of like a mini family, yeah.
All right. And how many kids would you say you have?
Ooh. Let's go with not a crazy number. Let's go with 3.
All right. Who are they?
Ooh. Oh my god. Damn, you really did say I was going to be put on the spot. Let's see. I think one is, did we decide if it's Mapak or Mapak, or how are we saying that word?
I've been saying Mapak or Mapak.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. One is a Mapak that is a raccoon. I don't know what their name is right now. But
okay.
Can I go with names later?
I just need their ages and their species, really.
Okay. So a 10-year-old Mapak, a 6-year-old Luma, and let's do an older one, a 13-year-old Gerbine.
Nice. Very
cool. So 13, 10, and 6.
All right. Okay, I can work with that. Cool.
Okay.
And are either of your characters religious? How important is religion to them?
I mean, I'd say yes. Sotto definitely follows Atlas. As I probably wrote somewhere over here, but yes,
Would there be like a shrine in your home or any
I
kind of
think so.
symbols?
Yeah,
Okay.
or at least some sort of. Maybe it's not like ornate or fancy or anything, but there definitely is like a little area dedicated to him in their home.
Okay. All right. And old Bog, I saw you shaking your head.
No, I mean
It's like,
he's
nah.
moral, lives by a code, but not necessarily a worshiper. Maybe spiritual in a way, but not a worshiper.
All right. So tell me, what is going through old Bog's mind when he heard Winnie saying that she might have to close her business?
It takes a lot to sway the old man, so I think he's probably just thinking, it's just we've had good times and bad, and we just need to ride it out. But shit, if this is really it, then man, this might be it, right? Nothing lasts forever. So he's just back and forth between, we can ride this out, but boy, if the candle really burns all the way down to the end, then that's it. Good night, Irene.
All right. So what would be, you think, his main concern at this point? Would it be like, oh shit, my bedroom is gone?
Well, probably caring for Winnie if that's her livelihood and not wanting to disappoint Willow.
Okay.
That's a little bit of Willow's legacy. And what would Winnie do if she didn't have the vat? So I think he's pretty selfless. He's probably not worried about himself at all. Like I said, no one lives forever. So if his time is up, his time is up. But what would happen to Winnie, and would he be letting Willow down if the door's shut?
Okay. Cool. All right. So, and Sotto, your primary motivation to go to the surface and hear these bells or chimes for yourself really is just for your sister, right? There's nothing else.
I mean, obviously he would be curious as to if it correlates to what's happening with the Spiritsong, but the primary motivator is because his sister asked. Because his sister's been good to him, he wants to repay the favor.
Okay. And how do you, I mean, going up to the surface and back is like a day trip. It's not like a huge deal anyway. But how often would you think Sotto actually leaves the down below?
I'd say, unless he's going on, he likes to go on nature walks, like hikes sort of thing. But I'd say he only does that about once a week, and he doesn't go to like any highly populated areas or anything. He literally takes the beaten path. So in terms of going somewhere where there's lots of people from the surface, probably like, oh wow, it's probably been a few years.
Okay. Yeah, and so like even if he went back up to the surface, he probably wouldn't stay within the tangle or even he'd
No.
probably never go up into the canopy. He'd
Mm-mm.
probably head off into the wildlands around.
Yes.
Okay. Cool. And would Merle go with him? Or?
Yeah, I feel like he would go sometimes, especially to procure some more supplies. Like, ooh, look at this herb you can only find in the wild, or for his cooking or whatever. So, yeah, I think it's like 50-50.
Okay. Sometimes he just wants some alone time, just hike out there, and sometimes he'll go with his.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I'm
All
thinking.
Right. Cool. And oh, Puck, what do you do for fun? What do you do?
You're
for
like, this
fun?
guy. This guy.
He kicks ass and chews bubblegum, and he hasn't had bubblegum in a long time.
He hasn't kicked ass in a long time either. I don't know.
Yeah, he's
So-
he's resting on his laurels. He's like one of those high school football stars, 50 years
Like past
later.
his prime,
Still-
like back in the
still
day,
thought-
sort of thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Uncle, what's the guys from?
Okay.
Yeah.
So a typical day in the life of Old Bog is to wake up in this broom closet,
Yep.
walk maybe 10 feet to the bar stool,
Yep.
sit his ass down for the day,
Yep.
walk back.
Incredible.
Yep.
That's great.
And
That's
he
it.
has done this for 50 years.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Well, yeah, and okay,
That's crazy.
So, if his candle is burning down and it's his time, he does care about what would happen to Winnie. He wouldn't want to let Willow down, but he also wants to reconcile with his daughter. It'd be nice to have one more
Aw.
opportunity to tell his daughter that he was probably a pretty crappy dad, but he still loves her.
So what has kept Old Bog at the Copper Vat? Is it mainly just his loyalty to Winnie and Willow?
Yes.
That's it? Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. That's
Yep.
strong.
That is strong if it goes beyond his duties as a father, for sure. Or was he using that as an excuse
Ooh.
Right.
too? Okay.
More of the
Dang.
latter. Yep.
A bit of avoidance in there too. Okay, cool.
Yep.
All right. And so when you had this encounter with this young servant woman, how do you think that affected?
Yeah.
Bog.
So old Bog maybe isn't very spiritual, but he's been around the block and he's heard all the legends, and maybe hasn't had too many supernatural encounters. But this was one that's really eating at him at this point. It's really stuck in his brain, where the veil between reality and the supernatural got poked. And now he's thinking, holy shit, am I losing it? I trust Winnie. She didn't see what I saw. Am I the only person who saw that? Am I losing it? Or is there really something happening? So just this itch of doubt and a little just tug away from reality that's just going to gnaw at him a little bit. Now, he's not one to overreact or go off the deep end, but for someone who's literally grounded on that stool and figuratively grounded in this is just what I do, that got disrupted.
And if it came down to a choice between what this young woman alluded to, and that you would have to get off your ass and do something, especially if it involved your daughter, and your loyalty to Winnie.
Yeah. This is that one big,
Okay.
that one great last touchdown pass that he still got left in him.
Okay. Oh, cool. That would be interesting to explore for sure. All right. Well, cool. Any other questions you guys have for me that I can answer for you?
Besides the campaign questions, I don't think so. I just wanted to say this was really fun, and
That
I'm
was
glad
awesome.
that I could test run Sotto with the two of you. Yeah, I'm just really excited.
Yep,
Cool.
for
All
sure.
right.
Awesome.
We got 2 more of these, and then we will kick off officially in a week and a half.
Yeah, woohoo!
All right. Awesome.
Sounds
All right.
great.
Well, thanks, guys.
Hey, thanks, Andrew. That was awesome.
Andrew.
All right, Alexia,
All right.
take
Good
care.
job.
Thank you, guys. Lots of fun.
Bye-bye.
Looking
guys.
forward to it. See y'all.
Bye.